3, 2, 1, 0.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
You're loud and clear.
Roger, we're programming and roll okay. A little bumpy along about here.
Roger. Stand by for 20 seconds.
Roger. We're smoothing out some now, getting out of the vibration area.
Roger, you're through max Q, flight path is...
Roger, feels good through max Q and smoothing out real fine. Cabin pressure coming down by 7, okay, flight very smooth now. Sky looking very dark outside.
All Roger, reading you loud and clear, 7, Cape is go, we're standing by for you.
Roger, Cape is go and I am go. Our capsule is in good shape. Fuel 103, 102, oxygen 78,100, cabin pressure holding steady at 5.8, amps is 2.6. All systems are go, indicating 6 Gs. Roger, 0 G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous.
Roger, turnaround has started.
Roger, capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of 100 yards behind me. It was beautiful.
Roger, 7, you have a go, at least 7 orbits.
Roger, understand go for at least 7 orbits. The Friendship 7 can see clear back a big cloud pattern way back across toward the Cape. We're all set. This is very comfortable at 0 G. I have nothing but very fine feeling. It just feels very normal and very good. Have very little dirt floating around in the capsule, just a little bit. And preparing to take xylos still at present time. This is Friendship 7. The head movements cause no sensations whatsoever. Feel fine. Reach test, I can hit directly to any spot that I want to hit. I have no problem reaching for knobs and have adjusted to 0 G very easily, much easier than I really thought I would. I have excellent vision on the charts, no astigmatism or any malfunctions at all. I feel fine so far, over.
Roger, understand.
This is Friendship 7, have beautiful view of the African coast, both in the scope and out the window. Out the window is by far the best view. Part of the Canaries was hidden by clouds. Roger, how you doing, Gordo? We're doing real fine up here. Everything is going very well, over.
John, you sound good.
Roger, control fuel is 90,100, oxygen is 75,100, amps are 22. All systems are still go, having no problems at all. Control system operating fine, over. The only unusual thing I have noticed is a rather high, what would appear to be a haze layer, up some 7 or 8 degrees above the horizon on the night side. The stars, I can see through it as they go down toward the real horizon, but it's a very visible single band or layer pretty well up above the normal horizon, over.
Shortly, you may observe some lights down there. You want to take a check on them out to your right, over?
Roger, I'm all set to see if I can't get them in sight. Roger, I do have lights in sight on the ground, over.
Roger, I understand. They're just off to your right there?
That's affirmative. Just to my right, I can see a big pattern of lights, apparently right on the coast. I can see the outline of a town and a very bright light just to the south of it. On down.
And Rockingham, you're saying that.
Roger, the lights show up very well, and I'll thank everybody for turning them on, will you?
Sure will, John.
Very fine.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
You're loud and clear.
Roger, we're programming and roll okay. A little bumpy along about here.
Go.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It is pouring outside. You probably won't be able to hear it, but it's a goddamn monsoon out there. But welcome. It is 1:40 p.m. Here in Florida, and I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for probably 30 minutes. It's going to be a short stream this afternoon. My daughter went down super easy today. I kept her up a little longer than normal. I usually put her down for a nap around like 12:30. Today was like 1:15. She was out like a light as soon as her head hit the pillow, man. Yeah, maybe that's the trick. Keep her up a little longer, huh? But welcome, low-key, afternoon, 30-minute stream, hanging out. Oh, one sec.
I'm about to be in a meeting and I'm extinguishing my dread for the occasion by making the robot curse. Fook. Shite. Motherfucker. Fook and shite.
Vince, that might be my favorite super chat and robot read of all time. I guess we need to figure out how to hack the robot. I wonder if I can do text-to-speech with the robot, like on my end of things. I'll have to look into that. But Vince, thank you so much, man. I also see Caretaker Wanted came in with the first super chat and channel support of the stream. I almost missed it. It was completely off my screen by the time I sat down at my computer after I ran down and got some more coffee. But Caretaker and Vince and Live with Danny Boy, thank you guys so much.
Hey Greedo. Love the channel. I loved your Star Trek video. You mentioned before you like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Live with Danny.
I was wondering what your thoughts are on those films and if you'd consider making a similar video talking about it.
First of all, Live with Danny, I appreciate the super chat and the kind words. I also apologize for reading your username completely incorrectly, unless it is Live with Danny Boy there. But so Caretaker, Vince, and Mr. Danny, thank you guys so much. I'm going to go in order, so I appreciate the patience this afternoon. So, Caretaker Wanted asks, got any good boot camp stories? Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this shit for an entire hour, but I'll be brief. Boot camp is more of just an overall experience. There are stories peppered in, but I feel like a lot of people's boot camp experience, it's not like being out in the fleet. It's not like on deployment where, you know, there is still like it's still regimented, but boot camp is very kind of by the books, regimented, minute to minute. You know where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, right? So yeah, I was actually what's called starboard watch leader in boot camp, which meant I was in charge of half of the boot camp division. You know, I was in charge of making schedules for people, what they were going to be doing in our division, standing watch. I stood at the front of the marching line and conducted marches and all that kind of stuff. So I was starboard watch leader, which meant a lot of shit rolled onto me. So if you guys have ever been in any kind of military situation, or even like maybe ROTC does this too. I wasn't in ROTC, but you know, if one of your guys fucks up, you bear the brunt of the punishment. It's like it's a one team, one fight mentality, right? One person messes up, the entire division gets punished, and it's a good thing. It's supposed to kind of kill the individual and bring a sense of teamwork among everyone. But that being said, yeah, I mean, dude, in boot camp, maybe you know this, I kind of mentioned it in the book. Boot camp was hilarious. A lot of people probably look at boot camp and think Full Metal Jacket, and while there is a lot of Full Metal Jacket going on in boot camp, dude, it's funny. Like, I was in my division, I think had about 85 guys, and when like Chief was yelling at my side of the berthing, the other side, like a couple guys that I was buddies with, would hump the air, and we would try not to laugh. That kind of stupid shit, right? Pulling pranks and hazing one another at night, even, like, you know, tying one another's boots to their racks, so when they wake up in the morning, the chief is just fucking screaming at you because your boots are tied, and obviously he knows that somebody fucked with you in the middle of the night, but it's
hey,
just...
Greedo,
oh, one sec.
It's been a while, just wanted to stop by and say hello and hope everything's going well, man.
Rosie. Oh, what? It didn't. Oh, it did read it all. Rosie, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate it. Give me one sec. I said I should probably do an entire stream about this kind of stuff, right, Caretaker? But yeah, like, I have very vivid memories of boot camp. I actually fell asleep on the John one day. We were conducting class. It was like a birthing classroom thing. I can't remember what the chief was teaching us. Probably some naval history or something. And I got up to go to the pisser, and I sat down to go number 2. And before you know it, I wake up and I'm like, oh shit. I'm kind of like panicking because I'm missing at this point. What if my division left? What if they left the berthing? What if they went to chow? What time is it? I don't have a watch. There's no clock in the toilet. But yeah, luckily I walked out and they were still conducting class. I think I was asleep for like 40 minutes and nobody noticed. So I got a little snooze. You don't get much snooze. I also got my wisdom teeth taken out in boot camp, which was kind of funny because they give you bed rest after like 3 days of bed rest after you get your wisdom teeth taken out. If you go to boot camp and you have your wisdom teeth, they will get taken out, even if they're not impacted, even if they're not swollen or whatever. They will just yank them out. They'll give you like pain medication, but they won't put you under or anything. So yeah, I got to lay in bed for 3 days while my division PT'd. I felt so bad because I did not take any of the medication. I didn't want to take any of the pain medication that they gave me because I wasn't in any pain. I was very surprised. I didn't feel anything. I barely had any bleeding, and they took all of my wisdom teeth out. It's kind of crazy. And plus, I don't like that shit. You know, if my femur's broken, sure, I'll take it. If my arm is severed, yes, give it to me. But you know, I'm very wary of that kind of medication. It just freaks me out on a huge level, you know? So, yeah, anyway. But, dude, Caretaker, yeah, let's discuss this throughout the stream, man, if you want to. A lot of fun stories, a lot of good memories, both from boot camp and deployment, and A school even is cool. But, yeah, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll keep an eye out on the chat, too. But, yeah, a lot of good memories. I have a bad memory to begin with, so it all comes back to me as I start thinking about it, like the swim qualifications and, you know, we got tear gassed in boot camp and all that kind of stuff too. So anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Vince Wynn, live with Danny and Rosie, thank you guys so much. Vince says, which might be my favorite super chat of all time. Vince says, hello, Greedo and chat. I'm about to be in a meeting, and I'm extinguishing my dread for the occasion by making the robot curse. And then I don't think I can replay it. Let me see if I can. Yep. Oh, it won't reread it, though. That sucks. It won't reread it. That's weird. I wonder why it wouldn't. But basically, Vince had the robot say, Fook. Obviously, you know the robot won't curse, but you can get around this with phonetic spellings, I suppose. Shite, mother fooker. Fucking shite. But yeah, Vince, I appreciate that, man. Hope the meeting goes by quick. 99% of meetings are pointless, I would say, and also giant wastes of time, right? Most meetings I feel that I've ever been in, unless there's some kind of massive training thing, I never really had much of a, when it come in the Navy, my meetings weren't necessarily a waste of time. Those were most of the time important, but like, dude, other corporate gigs or office jobs, the meetings were basically just because somebody wanted to hear themselves talk, right? That's about it. But anyway. And live with Danny Boy, thank you so much as well. Incredibly generous this afternoon, man. Danny Boy says, hey, Greedo, love the channel. I loved your Star Trek video. You mentioned before you like Lord of the Rings. I was wondering what your thoughts are on those films, and if you'd consider making a similar video talking about it. Let me turn my music down to my headset. There we go. I feel like I was talking super loud. Maybe I wasn't. But yeah, so Lord of the Rings, I saw all 3 of the original Lord of the Rings movies opening night, all 3 of them, with the same group of guys. The first one came out in what, 2001, 2002? Fellowship of the Ring. 2001. Okay, 2001. So yeah, I was a sophomore in high school in 2001. And I saw Fellowship of the Ring opening night with this big group of guys. I think there was like 15 of us, and it's one of my favorite movie-going experiences I've ever had. because before we went to see the movie, we were hanging out in my buddy's like parents' rental house, and nobody was living there, so it was like, 15 high school kids just cutting up in this abandoned house or like this empty house. Anyway, that's a different story. But I'm a fan. I don't really know much about the lore. I'm not that deep into it. It is one of the series of movies that I'm extremely excited to show my daughter. Just because I think, there's a fun sense of adventure there, and I think, I think kids would, or especially my daughter, would really, really enjoy that. But I've actually never considered or even thought about making a Lord of the Rings video. Maybe that's just because it's not a franchise that I've ever really kept up with, right? I've never read the books, which it's one of the series that I've 20 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I would like to read Lord of the Rings. 20 years later, I still haven't read them, right? I've never seen any of the new Hobbit movies. I've never seen any of those. So yeah, I honestly, if I made a Lord of the Rings video, I probably wouldn't have that much to say. It would basically be stories about going to see him in the theater and how much fun that was with buddies, But yeah, like my love for Star Trek, especially TNG, as you know, with that video that I made months ago now, is definitely on a much larger level, and a very different level than my enjoyment of Lord of the Rings, let's just say, Yeah, so maybe if I had read the books, maybe if I was a little more into that world, maybe if I've played the games. The only Lord of the Rings game I've ever played is Lord of the Rings Online, which was a lot of fun. Kind of just felt like a generic MMO to me, so it didn't really hold my interest. But, sometimes, I feel like sometimes we're a lot of us are in the mood for a game like that. But, so yeah, probably won't end up making a Lord of the Rings video, unfortunately. Just not something that I feel like there wouldn't be enough in my brain to put down on the writing paper about Lord of the Rings to fill up some time to talk about it, right? But anyway, Danny, I appreciate the generous super chat. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much, man. And yeah, maybe when I watch them with my daughter when she grows up, she's only a little over 2 years old right now. Maybe I'll feel an itch to make a Lord of the Rings video, but we shall see. We shall see. And Rosie, thank you so much as well for the channel support. Extremely generous this afternoon as well. Rosie says, hey, Greedo, it's Jared. Been a while. Just wanted to stop by and say hello and hope everything's going well, man. Yeah, you too. I hope everything's going well for you too, man. It certainly, dude, it's kind of funny. Like, I've seen a lot of people lately who I haven't seen in a while. Grant Guthrie, who I think was actually in the chat earlier when I first started the stream. Maybe he bailed, or maybe he's listening. What's up, Grant, if you're still here? Or maybe I imagined it. I don't see him scrolling up in the chat. Weird. But yeah, welcome, man. Hangout. Hope you're doing well. Things are going good for around here. It's hard to believe we've already lived in our new house for 7.5 months now. I mean, before I know it, it's going to be December, and it's going to be a year in the new house. Crazy. What's up, Grant? There you go. Yeah, things are going really well. I'm actually, the thing that I've been like completely 100% obsessed about lately, man, since like middle March, maybe not that long, like March, April, May, June, I would say maybe early April or so. I've gotten back into running. I used to run a lot. So I started running, I would say early April. All right. And I started running like 2-3 miles 4 or 5 times a week, running with my daughter in the stroller. It would go quick. We'd get back. We'd play sidewalk chalk and run through the sprinklers, right? And then so many months later, now it's July, I've been averaging 5.5 miles 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And my average pace now is like 7 minutes and 50 seconds. I've gone from 213 pounds down to 191 today. So I've lost, 22 pounds and just by running. I haven't really changed much in terms of diet. I've never really been much of a shitty eater anyway. But yeah, doing that, working out. I'm actually planning on becoming an EMT and a firefighter, and that all starts in January, using the kind of the GI Bill and veteran preference and stuff like that. It's been a goal of mine since I got out of the Navy to do that, and I've just never pursued it for whatever reason, So that's kind of what's in my wheelhouse right now, Rosie. I'm actually right back down to my post-deployment weight. That's crazy to me, man. Crazy. 10 years ago, I'm back down to where I was. Just a little hard work, right? Anybody can do it. You wake up, you wake up at 4:45, you put your shoes on, and you run. That's like the only exercise, man, that I've ever like thoroughly enjoyed. I can push myself to do whatever, but like running to me it's like me time. It's a moment, it's time of clarity. I can listen to some tunes or a podcast. It is definitely mind over matter, and that's really the only exercise I've ever thoroughly like enjoyed. Maybe I attribute that to the Navy and the long runs that we did in A school, but yeah, I love it. It's fun. I actually just ordered a new pair of shoes today. Nike Flex something. I can't remember. Flex something. I can't remember. Anyway, Rosie, enough of me. I appreciate that, man. And Caleb Kemp, good to see you. Caleb Kemp, nice to catch a bit of this before I head to work after a rough day of college work. Busy ass day. Hope you have a good one. Yeah, you too, man. That's it's been a while since I've done that, taken classes and also worked. That's probably going to be the case in a couple months, or at least in January. But yeah, man, busy. It wears you out, right? But it's also fun. I think like you'll look back on those times and it's like hanging out and going to class and then going to work with an entirely different group of people. There's just something about like a productive day like that is I think extremely satisfying, Right when I got out of the Navy, I started going to a school using the GI Bill, and I was working at a bookstore. It was fun, man. Like going to school in the morning and working at a bookstore. Like that was cool, I miss that. It's good times though, man. But yeah, enjoy it. And yeah, I probably won't end up streaming tonight, but we always try to set some co-op up with Battlefront, right? We'll do that soon for sure. But I appreciate that, man. Enjoy the work. And Raul Christensen, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. Is that Sonic? And your avatar is really small on my screen. It's hard to tell. Or is that a 3, a backward? No. Or is that an E? I can't. Oh, it's Sonic. It's Sonic. There we go. I think. But you asked, what are your top 5 childhood movies or games? Ooh. So, my top 5 childhood movies. All right. So, where are we going with childhood? Let's say, in no particular order here. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I think Temple of Doom is my favorite Indiana Jones. Back to the Future, the original first Back to the Future. This is excluding Star Wars, of course, right? Because duh. And then you got like Men in Black. I grew up watching that constantly. Just such an adventurous, fun, goofy movie, right? Jaws. I watched Jaws so much as a kid. And then probably the second Aliens, the sequel to Alien. I watched that so much too. I would say those 5 I watched more than any other movies as a kid. You could throw Independence Day in there too. That was such a fun Boy Scouty movie that I watched so much as a kid. But yeah, that's not necessarily my list of top 5 movies of all time, but those are the movies that I watched, I would say, the most as a kid, probably. And then The Matrix came out, and then everything changed, and then Saving Private Ryan before that, and just, you know, but yeah. In terms of games, it's kind of difficult to, because I bounced around so much. So, like Super Mario for the SNES, Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Shadows of the Empire, Zelda, Ocarina of Time. And then that's around the same time that I migrated over to PC gaming. Right around the time that I got a Nintendo 64, I would say. Then I started playing like Doom and Duke Nukem 3D and you know, the original GTA and Hexen and whatever came out around that time, eventually landing on Ultima Online and Half-Life and Counter-Strike and all that kind of stuff, right? So, yeah. Always a long laundry list. And I'm forgetting so many movies and games. But yeah. Anyway. And of course, GoldenEye. Of course, GoldenEye, right? But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you. Just getting some work done. Listening to your stream helps me get my work done. I don't know how it helps you get your work done. Unless, yeah, I get it. If I'm doing stuff around the house, or it depends on what I'm working on, right? If I'm like writing, if I'm doing something like that, I cannot listen to a podcast. I might as well. I listen to ambient music when I write and stuff like that, or work on videos. But if I'm listening to a podcast, man, it messes my brain up. Can't focus. Oh, I have a fun video coming out all about the leaks and whatnot. It's actually scheduled for tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. You should try Halo on PC. It's a cool casual experience. Yeah, I've never played. Who said that? Daniel Reyes. I've never played. Well, the only Halo game that I've ever played is the very first Halo game. That's the only on the original Xbox. And I've never played the campaign. And I only played it maybe once or twice. That was, I might have been in 8th grade or going into my freshman year of high school. I don't remember. But I had a buddy who had an Xbox, and we went over to play at his house, and we just did like deathmatch or whatever it's called on the couch, right? I've never played a Halo game other than just like a couple hours of Halo deathmatch on the original Xbox. Well, yeah. Yep. No, I've never wrote a screenplay. Never done that, Neon. What's up, Neon? Yeah, I know Halo recently came out on the PC. But I haven't looked into that. Is it on Steam? Or do you have to get it on like the Microsoft Store or whatever it's called? Oh, I can't search on Steam. Why aren't you working? Halo Master Chief Collection. Oh, there we go. Okay. It looks like it's all on Steam. All right. Master Chief Collection, I guess, is the one that comes. Oh my God, there's like 86,000 reviews. I guess I don't really look at AAA big ass games like that too often on Steam. Most of the time I'm looking at Steam, it's just small indie games that kind of pique my interest, right? Let's see how many reviews Alex has. Half-Life Alex. A quarter of it. Wow. All right.
Why is the deepest / most unique SW stuff in CW and other fringe media like the games? Maybe the films are afraid of distancing viewers. Speaking of, KOTOR 2's villains. Seriously. Yeah. Wow.
Benjamin B, thank you so much for the generous super chat and channel support this afternoon, man. Yeah, I actually had a little text conversation with one of my best buds a couple days ago, and he was... Well, how did he end the conversation? He said... Yeah, need to get away from what we know as cinematic Star Wars. So, yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking about that too, branching out, doing different stuff. Benjamin B., let me read this so I can refresh my memory, because I have a goldfish memory. He says, why is the deepest / most unique Star Wars stuff in the Clone Wars and other fringe media like the games? Maybe the films are afraid of distancing viewers. Speaking of, KOTOR 2's villain, seriously, wow. You know I still need to play that. I think maybe that's exactly what it is, right, Ben? When I mean, shit, let me read exactly what my buddy said about, he was talking about The Rise of Skywalker because he does not like it even more than I don't like it. He said, at least the prequels are these weird fucking ideas. And that's kind of funny. At least these prequels are, yeah, that's kind of true, right? When the prequels came out, there was an overwhelming sense by the community, by Star Wars fans. I mean, if you were alive and had your ear on the fandom at that time, it was very similar to today. And those movies, a lot of people considered that they didn't stay in line with what came before. And I think that's what aggravated a lot of people. That being said, I want things to branch out, right? I don't want Star Wars to feel like it's stuck in a rut. I don't want to continuously like rehash ideas. I don't want Star Wars to, I don't know, get hamstrung with what came before. I want it to branch out. I want it to get unique and different and stuff like that. And yeah, a lot of the what you called fringe media or unique ideas and deepest and interesting ideas like that are very different than what you would see in the films. There is a place for that, obviously, in all of those different types of media, but I want those to get introduced into the films. Not everything needs to be very similar to what came before. I've said this before, but I would love a Star Wars detective story, something like a genre film. I want something unique and different. So yeah, I think that is exactly what the issue is. The films are afraid of distancing viewers. Because whenever something is slightly different or attempts to do something new, we've seen this 2 generations now with Star Wars movies, there is an uproar. An uproar. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. I want Star Wars to branch out and be unique and different. But that's just me, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I hope now that we have the sequel trilogy in a box and over there, and we have Rogue One and Solo. I hope the future of Star Wars is more of a chance-taking endeavor, right? Unique and interesting ideas that might not hit everybody, but that's okay. That's what Star Wars is about, right? That's what making movies is about. You don't want to rehash the same shit over and over again. If you're not pushing the boundaries, if you're not taking chances, if you're not making unique and interesting ideas that might fail, then you're not really progressing. That's what I want, But anyway, I appreciate that, Ben. There you go. What's up, stud? I don't think we've heard your song this stream. You said if you could write a symphony or a film score, what would it be for? Oh, I don't know, some Apollo 11 movie. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Some movie about the history of the space program.
Thoughts on the original 1968 Planet of the Apes film? Have you seen the newer films? Are they any good?
Smart Person JDT. Oh, Grant. Sorry, man. Grant Guthrie and Smart Person JTD. Thank you guys so much for the channel support this afternoon, man. Smart Person, give me a second. Grant is right before you. I don't think I got a notification for that, but I see it on my screen. Grant says, I forgot my water downstairs, damn it. It's going to be a thirsty stream, ladies and gentlemen. Grant says, got to give a shout out to one of my favorite indie games, Brigador. Is that how you say that? Doesn't get enough attention for a game made with so much love. Take a look. Brigador. Brigador is an isometric real-time tactical game from independent studio Stellar Jockeys. Okay, let's check this out. Yeah, I've been wanting to figure out something because I haven't played a game with my buddy, like my go-to gaming buddy, in months, man. Just kind of, we're both so busy, and with COVID, he's in the Army Corps of Engineers. He's been actually working from home a lot and traveling a little bit, visiting family and stuff like that, because he can work from home. Let's see. Oh, this looks kind of cool. Pilot a mech to hunt down and destroy the oppressive government of a cyberpunk autocracy. In the fast-paced top-down shooter. Unlock up to... is this multiplayer? Oh, it's single player. Okay. It's single player. I have 2 friends. Oh, my buddy already owns it. Okay. That's funny. All right. Yeah, maybe I'll check this out. I really have to be in the mood for single player games, man. Like, yeah, single player games, unless it, most of the time a single player game really, man, how do I put this? I feel like the only single player games that I've played in the past decade have been like AAA titles. I don't know why. And the vast majority of multiplayer games that I play are maybe you would consider them independent, or definitely smaller scale in terms of development. But yeah, I'll check this out. I'll give you one back to you, Grant. Maybe you've heard me talk about it before, but if you're in the mood for a single player independent game that is kind of a puzzle game and it's just really atmospheric and fun and unique, there's a game called how am I blanking? Oh, The Swapper. It's called, I'm going to type it in the chat. The Swapper. This goes for anybody. Check out The Swapper. It is a fun single player puzzle game where you are like an astronaut and you have a clone gun and you have to figure out these puzzles, and it's really eerie and it's a side scroller, and it's great, man. So yeah, I'll check that out. You check that out. There you go. But I appreciate that, Grant. And smart person JDT, thank you so much for the channel support as well this afternoon, man. Let's call it the final super chat and channel support of the stream. I said this was going to be a 30-minute stream. We are almost at 40 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. There we go. Where did it go? Smart person JDT says, thoughts on the original 1968 Planet of the Apes film? Have you seen the newer films? Are they any good? So, yeah, I've absolutely seen the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes. Let me look this up. Planet of the Apes, 1968. I probably haven't seen it in 10 plus years. I remember liking it quite a bit. Obviously, the shock ending, which I heard a story about that recently. God, I can't remember where I heard a story of Planet of the Apes and the ending and how the ending was decided. I can't remember. Maybe they were talking about like dystopian movies on some podcast I was listening to. That sounds familiar. So, yeah, I remember liking it. I don't really have very many memories of it, unfortunately, other than that ending. And Bright Eyes, right? Bright Eyes, is that what they called him, right? Bright Eyes, yeah, Bright Eyes. I'm sorry, guys, I'm going down a rabbit hole looking up information of this about this. So the newer one, smart person. I've seen all of them. Let me look them up. Planet of the Apes movies. I've seen all of the newer ones, and if you haven't seen them, man, see them. They're fantastic. I was very surprised by how much I enjoyed them. Like, I remember seeing the trailer for like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think, is that the first one? Reboot film series. Yeah. So I remember seeing the trailer for that, and I thought it looked okay. It just looked like some generic thing. in the age of the reboot and the sequel and whatnot, I probably just rolled my eyes and didn't think anything of it. And then I saw it, and I was like, wow, this is really great. And then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes came out. War for the Planet of the Apes came out. I feel like maybe this is just me not paying attention to the consensus online, but I feel like those movies were kind of sleepers. I could be wrong about that, but I've never really heard very many people talk about them. Those movies are great, man. That's saying nothing about the CG and whatnot, but they're just really solid stories and really heartfelt, really well done. Let's see what they all have on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. So, Rise of the Planet of the Apes has a 82. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes has a 90. War for the Planet of the Apes has a 94. So, so as the trilogy progressed, a critic consensus, they got better. Oh, there's a fourth film. It's only in discussion. In February, as the director of the film, blah, blah, blah. Caesar's Legacy. Okay, maybe that's not what it is, but interesting. So maybe there's going to be a fourth one. So, yeah, if you guys have not seen the new Planet of the Apes trilogy, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes, let that be my suggestion of something to watch this weekend. I slept on the first one, watched it, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think my favorite one, if I'm remembering them correctly, was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I can't really remember. War for the Planet of the Apes felt like maybe that was a smaller scale. God, I'm having a hard time discerning them from one another. But yeah, if you guys, especially like if you liked the first Planet of the Apes, 1968, obviously this is going to be a lot different, but it's I think it's more heartfelt. I think maybe it doesn't have as many interesting like 1960s science fiction concepts as the original, but I think in terms of just like an impactful, emotional, great story that's told in the three films, yeah, man, yeah, don't sleep on it. Definitely watch it. But anyway, I appreciate that. And Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much as well for the final super chat and channel support before I jet. Oscar says documentary recommendation, Crumb. 1994. Crumb, 1994. Let's check this out. Oh, this looks, just by the cover, it looks weird. Filmmaker Terry Zwigoff created a complex but affectionate portrait of his longtime friend, underground cartoonist Robert Crumb, a notorious curmudgeon who would prefer to be alone with his fellow cartoonist wife. In his beloved vintage jazz records, Crumb reveals himself to be a complicated personality who suffered a troubling upbringing and harbors a philosophical opposition to the 1960s hippie underground that first celebrated his work. Interesting. All right. Yeah, this looks weird, but it looks like something that we would, me and my wife would enjoy. Some kind of weird. That's some of the best documentaries, man, are like, obviously there's documentaries about major like worldwide events or that kind of stuff, but documentaries that just kind of focus on small, unique, interesting stories with a good, like, just a main character, right? If you can call somebody in a documentary a character. Some of the best. All right. I'm going to keep this up on my screen. And then, Prime Video. There we go. It is... This video is currently unavailable to watch in your location. I'll figure it out. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. Nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that, Oscar. Here's a documentary for you. I watched it when it first came out a couple years ago now. Let me see. Merchants out. Documentary. When did this come out? Oh, wow. 2014. It's been a long time. Okay. Here's a good trailer. Merchants of Doubt. Solid. Good documentary. Worth your time. Worth a watch. Cool. All right. Anyway, guys. It is time for me to jet. I will not be doing a stream tonight. I actually have a trivia night with my buddies over Zoom. Looking forward to that. It'll be fun. I have a video scheduled to come out tomorrow. I believe at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I have another video scheduled to come out on Saturday, I think, at the same time. Yeah, so that's, and then I'll probably stream on Sunday. We shall see. But oh, Super Michael 98, thank you so much for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of this stream. Michael says, "Do you enjoy Lord of the Rings / The Hobbit?" Oh, this guy is. It is funny how certain topics kind of come back around. I think one of the, yeah, who said it? Yeah, Live with Danny Boy 40 minutes ago asked me about Lord of the Rings. It's funny, man. So yeah, Lord of the Rings. I'll say it again. I went to the movie theater to see all 3 films with like the same group of guys. The first one came out when I was a sophomore in high school in 2001. I thoroughly enjoy those movies. I've always wanted to read the books. They're some of the movies that I'm most excited to show my daughter, just because they're epic and they're, you know, there's a huge sense of adventure and yeah, they're just fun, right? I've never seen a Hobbit movie. Never seen them. I don't know why I never had much of a desire to see them. Like, when it was announced that Peter Jackson was going to be making them, it didn't excite me. It should have. I don't know why it didn't, but it should have. So yeah, I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings. It's kind of funny, when I went to see him with that group of guys in 2001, I didn't know anything about Lord of the Rings. Anything. Wasn't much of a reader at that time. Yeah, I wasn't in that world. But some of my friends were like super into it, had read the books, and they were really excited. And I went into it knowing nothing. Nothing. 20-something years ago, which is hard to believe, right? But anyway, they're fun movies, man. I own the, what are they called? Are they the extended cuts? I own them all on Blu-ray. And as soon as my daughter is old enough to understand and sit down and have some popcorn, definitely going to pop those in, right? But all right, guys, it's time for me to jet. Videos coming out tomorrow and Saturday, and streaming sometime, maybe tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. To everybody who supported the channel through super chats this afternoon, I appreciate the hell out of it. To everybody who hung out in the chat or didn't say a damn word, thanks for listening to my stupid voice. But all right, everybody, have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever the hell you are on planet Earth. And let's end this thing with a fun, upbeat boop boop song. All right, guys, see ya. I'm still here. Later, guys.